We're going to move into the last section of the conference. We have Mr. Marty Seymour, who is the Director of Industry and Stakeholder Relations at Farm Credit Canada, to just give us a little bit of a highlight of what we've learned from the conference today. And then I'll take it back over to just give our final remarks. Go ahead, Mr. Seymour.
All right, thanks, Clinton. I will admit this is the first time I've done one of these summaries, and many of you will know Kim McConnell's presence when he does these. And so I thought, well, I should take a page out of Kim's thing and look at my notes and see what I really got out of this. So I'm going to rip through this, Clinton, but there's a few things that stuck out for me in Professor Caulfield's talk that I wanted to share, and that's the word infodemic. It really caught my attention. It's kind of a sticky word. He does a good job of illustrating the absurdity in the data that we see. I think Tim's shtick is good. I worked with him before on this, and it makes a lot of sense to me, but I started to think about deeper and thought, we've got to make sure in our industry that we're not also part of that infodemic of just avalanching people with data, and is our data fact-based and supported. And I thought that was a good takeaway. I think Tim also does a good job of showing us what we're up against. And if 16% of data is fact-checked, that's a bit alarming for me. That kind of punches you in the guts, like, wow, there's so many people just reading headlines. And so if industry is the lead on research and it's trusted less, it makes me think about our partnerships. So if we're going to do research and we partner with NGOs and government, that helps us position ourselves. But I also, when I looked at his data about industry being the lead on research, it was still generally positive. So what might have been pursued as, hey, if we don't have a partner in our research, it's not good and valid and people won't believe it. I still saw it as a net positive. And so my call to industry, let's keep investing in the research to support our messages, even if it has a self-interest by a particular group. It's still generally viewed as positive. Debunking, I think, the anchor of what Tim's about is this debunking. And a few key takeaways for me in his list of 9 that caught my attention is use good science, highlight the rhetorical tricks or the rhetoric inside. I really like that about just calling people out and saying, that's a conspiracy, say it what it is. Be nice. I think we could learn a lot about that in the social world we live in today. And then remember that our audience when we post stuff is the general consumer. It's not the denier or the person that's angry about this particular thing that will never change their mind. That strikes me as another way to create frame for when we're going back to market. And creativity wins, imagery, stories, and humor. And I think, the work you guys have been doing in this organization for the last 7-8 years since I started following you closely is exactly doing those things. And so shout out to you guys for the validation that Tim gave you today. And then the other one, the nuance about don't allow the misinformation to continue to live by amplifying it. I thought his little trick about taking a screenshot, putting a little scratch on it or a scribble, it's just a good best practice that a lot of us in social could use. It's fairly effortless and allows us to live straight into this debunking thing. And then the last one in his thing is this: inoculate people with new information. I wonder in our industry, we spend a lot of time in defense, is if we could think ahead about new things, like what's the upcoming piece. The vaccine conversation in public good right now is an obvious one. But our industry, I wonder, as we start to talk more about sustainability coming out of the pandemic, we shouldn't start a narrative around health and in all our respective commodity groups, how food is an important role in health. Because I think the conversation coming out of the pandemic will be about health and how do we make a robust public health system. All right, now Dr. Mitloner is always a treat. I was having flashbacks to chemistry back in the days, and I like chemistry so much, university, I almost took it twice. So I think there's the nuance or the knitting about carbon cycle, and I think as an industry understanding that, I think that's important. That you have a general frame of mind of that so that you can speak to it. And it's really about the debunking. If we're going to try to debunk bad science, we need to understand it ourselves. So thanks Frank, for that. I think the real takeaway for me on that was what he referred to at what's going on in the California dairies, and that they set out, it was a public policy to reduce methane emissions by 40%. And today they're already at 25% of that 40% target. I thought that's pretty impressive, which tells me if an industry puts their back into something, we can actually move the needle. And it spills over to my other theory about future language moving ahead, is we need to start to not be so binary about we're the best and we're doing awesome. but this idea that our audience expects us to be continuously improving. I expect my doctor to be continuously getting better. I see that you're giving CE credits for participating today. I don't know why our industry can't bleed that language into what we talk about and say, hey, we are an imperfect system. We're doing the best we can with the knowledge we have, and tomorrow we're going to be better than we were yesterday. To me, that's inspirational, and I don't know a consumer out there that wouldn't appreciate the position on that. And then more specifically on Frank's knitting was if we had to focus on things in animal agriculture, feed density, genetics, fertility, and health. I'm an old feed and pharmaceutical guy, and those make a lot of sense to me. That's where the most lift is in terms of how we can do more with less. And so for those on the call in those sectors, I think you've got a great call to action there to say in your respective lane on feed, genetics, fertility, and health, maybe we can do more. So congratulations, Clinton, on a great day again with some good speakers and some provocative thought. Well done.
Oh, and I tried to do the applause again, Marty, and it didn't work. It's it just stopped working on me. I did want to give you the applause, but I'll just go like this. So I appreciate that, and very good advice too on just some things that I think all of us can do. We're moving in the right direction. I think there's some great opportunities for us to move forward in this industry. And I think you're doing a good job as well in terms of getting out and speaking to people. So we appreciate the work that you're doing at FCC as well. So thank you very much, Marty. I would like to again thank our sponsors to make this event possible. I know you've had the opportunity to see them in our app. But I really hope that you feel that this conference has allowed you to gain some knowledge on the subject of building trust in agriculture. We do have some more polls that you can answer. It's under the resource section. Please feel free to go in and tick those off. With that, on behalf of the Farm and Food Care Saskatchewan Board of Directors and staff, I wanted to say thank you very much for making this our largest conference that we have hosted to date. I appreciate your support and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.